All right.
Here we are. So, wow, so excited. Actually, very excited to have you here. For the ones that don't know me, this is actually the welcome of always, right? My name is Ornella Gigante. I'm the CEO and founder of MindyCore, an edtech company made with love. And with me is the amazing Praise James. She's actually somebody that I consider a friend.
Actually,
But
very excited to have you here.
sorry, I'm hearing some echo.
For the ones that know me, this is
Sorry.
actually the
Okay. So let's do.
Sorry, it's all right. We're checking on our devices at the same time because the ones that saw the first video, I have a problem with the chat. I corrected the chat, I fixed it, so it works. So I will continue with the presentation. Praise James. She is actually a very dear friend, and at the same time, she's amazing in what she does. She's a professional, actually somebody that is collaborating with us at MindyCore with Mindy. I really appreciate her. So what more can I say? She actually has a long journey on AI storytelling. You will see all her information actually on the description in the video below. Yeah, Praise, please just make some presentation.
Hi, Ornella. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Talking to the MindyCore audience about emotional storytelling in AI. My name is Praise James, and I'm a technical content writer and storyteller. So basically, what I do is I make AI systems, products make sense to the audience they were built for. I use storytelling as a tool to create product-led content that helps people to make the product part of their daily workflow. Currently, I work as a developer content agency, Hack Mamba, where we create good quality content that actually gets used by developers and executives. Yeah, I've been doing this for 2+ years now. This year will make it 3 years. This is something I love to do. This I'm excited here to be here today to share about what I've done, what I continue to do, and what you can also do for yourself with storytelling. Thank you,
Actually,
Anela.
no, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your presence and the expertise that you are putting here in this session. Actually, you are actually giving a lot of value in your mission and values here at MindyCore, and as a friend and as actually professional to professional, thank you for being here. And I'm going to be honest. You have been doing this for 3 years, but I got
Yeah.
the feeling, and this is not because I'm your friend. This is after I meet you and everything. I saw your content and I got the feeling that you actually had much more experience. We're talking about passion here and vocation. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it's definitely passion that makes it look extended. I mean, I've been writing for the fun of it for a long time, but in the professional space of like AI, it's just been 2+ years. So yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I hope to do this for the next decade. So let's see how it goes.
You're doing great. So I will start with some questions that actually I prepared with care. Some of them are going to be organic. Some of them actually, that I prepared them because I suppose that at some point I'm your little fan as well. I have been consuming your contents for so long. So how do you describe yourself as both a technical writer and a storyteller? How did these two words, right, come together for you?
All right. Like I said, I've been doing writing for a long time, so I feel sometimes writing chose me. But the storytelling part was mostly influenced by the fact that when I came into the space, that's the AI space, I was overwhelmed a lot. I mean, every day something new is happening, something there's a recent advancement, and as a beginner, it can feel like, oh, I don't belong here, or oh, I'm not smart enough to understand what is happening, and it takes a lot of courage to still go ahead to learn and practice in this space. But then what helped me to get to the stage I am right now is storytelling. And by storytelling, I mean it's consuming content that was created with me at heart, with that beginner I was at the time. It was reading and watching videos that explained AI, took the abstract nature of it, and then made it visible for me to make up in my head. So that's how, and being in that situation, having first-hand experience of the difficulty of navigating the space, I just knew that okay, I had to make this a thing for myself. I had to bring the same storytelling into my work as a technical writer and create content that would make AI accessible, make AI content memorable, make it something that, after you finish reading it, if you come across the same thing months or weeks later, even if you might not remember every single word in that content you read, you'll be able to have some things that you picked that would stay with you. So that's how the two words collided for me. It was strictly informed by my first-hand experience with, the difficulty of navigating the space and wanting to make sure that it's easier for everyone that comes before me to do. So that's it.
That's amazing, actually, and it's very interesting the fact that you're saying, and you know that you make an article and people will take a concept. They are not going to take the whole thing, but you wait for
Yeah.
them to choose at least pick one concept, right? That's so
Yeah.
interesting. And this is something actually very personal, but I wanted to ask you. Was there maybe, I don't know, like a personal experience of why you started putting AI in your storytelling? Do you have a personal experience, maybe like saying, I have to make a difference because you're making impact here? This is something very different.
Well, coming into AI for me was strictly informed by a random. I had this mentor, and she was already in the AI space. And one day she posted a link to something she had written. And at that time, I hadn't even heard about AI. Like on the scale, I knew there was a technology that people said was going to be better than humans at what we do, but I didn't know the name, I didn't know what it was. And I remember going through the article she wrote. I remember the topic, it was about how AI can help in marketing. And I remember going through it and I texted her, I was like, wow, is this actually a real thing? Like, is it possible for a tool to be able to do so much? And this was prior to ChatGPT. So this was 2022. So at that time, there wasn't even as much buzz as it is now, but I was just intrigued by the concept of the fact that this technology can actually optimize speed. It can actually increase productivity. I mean, it can take those manual stuff that we do and automate it so we can focus on other strategic stuff. So yeah, that was it for me. And I mean, I'm a user of the technology. I use it for research. I use it for brainstorming. I use it in my daily workflow. So AI is basically I won't call it part of my life right now, but yes, it's a big aspect of my life. And I love the technology. I'm looking forward to what's going to be like. I mean, with everything that's already happened in the last 3 years, I can only imagine what it's going to be like down the road, 10 years from now. But yes, my whole play in this space is strictly from passion, curiosity. That's one thing I love about the AI space. The fact that, sometimes you're in an industry that can seem like the knowledge has finished, in quotes. By that I mean there's nothing new to learn. But in the AI space, before you sleep and wake up, someone has dropped a new product, something new has happened, someone has discovered something new, and there's always so much to learn and so much to do and so much to practice on. So that curiosity spirit, it keeps burning in me, makes me like want to stay here for the long time. Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, you speak with so much passion, and actually, there are two words that I can take for everything that you said. One is the psychology, right? I can see a lot of emotional effort in your writing, which is amazing. I always say that, well, that the core of MindyCore is that, right? Create technology with empathy. That's the reason that we are so seeking these kind of things. It's like, and the other thing that I think that actually you touch a very interesting subject that so many people are waking up right now regarding this. AI is a tool. AI is a tool. It's not something that has to do everything for you. It's not something that has to be in charge, right? So this is very, very interesting, very important, and I actually appreciate from all the documentation that I have been reading regarding AI that you put a lot of effort on pointing that out every time. AI is a tool. What could you say to the people that your readers regarding this to make them understand the concept in a better way? In one
All
sentence,
right.
maybe.
AI was never meant to replace humans. I feel the need to put that out there because I mean, there's a lot of conversations about will AI take our jobs, will AI do this, will AI end the world. No, that was not the aim of the technology. like I said, the aim of the technology is to those things that eat into our time, the time we spend going through that spreadsheet, trying to make sense of all this data. AI can take that workload off you. So you can now spend time doing other strategic things that AI would never be capable of doing. For instance, the product you're building with MindyCore, yes, there's AI at play in optimizing it for the target audience, but you are the brain behind it. There is no replacing that brain that thought about this whole workflow, that thought about this whole project. AI can never replace that. It can only make your work easier for you. So that's something that needs to be said over and over again. Like you said, it's just a tool. It's not your alternate personality. It's not a replacement to who you are as a person. It's just a way to even make you a better person. I mean, what could have probably taken you 10 hours to do before on a regular day will probably just take you 30 minutes with the use of AI. Who doesn't want to get time back to even spend it with people that you care about? So yes, that's what AI does for us. It increases productivity, it optimizes speed, it just makes things easier for us to do as humans so that we can even become more incredible people. So if you really want to look at it from the right lens, you would see AI is more of a partner. So what you're supposed to do is not outsource everything to it. I see some people using it to think, and that's not how to use AI. You don't use AI to think, you just use it to, you can use it to brainstorm ideas, but it shouldn't be the first source point of contact whenever you need to reason. You still have a brain that works better than it ever will. So the plan of AI is after you do that thinking, then you can now go to it and be like, okay, this is what I've thought about. How can I make this? How can I bring this to life? You understand? For instance, AI is making the average person able to build apps. Before 10 years back, with the only people that could do were people that probably had computer science degrees, or people that were working at Silicon Valley. But right now, I could literally go to ChatGPT and say, I want to build a fitness app. Give me a structured plan. Do this, do that. Work with Cloud Code, and it's something that would be out there. So that's what AI does for us. It just makes life easier for you so that you can be an extra incredible person. The same way MindyCore is working with, help Mindy Mind specifically is trying to help neurodivergent individuals. We're not trying to replace these people with the products, right? We're just trying to help them make their work day or their workflow easier for them to process. So that's just the beauty of the tool.
I appreciate it, and actually, everything you say is like gold, right? Because it's very easy to understand. You have that in your storytelling, actually. This is something that actually I know that I'm repeating you a lot, but it's true. It's like the mind must to be in the storytelling. Even if we're talking about AI, it's the human mind that has to be behind that, right? Actually, what you're saying about AI to be a tool is like a huge orchestra, and we are guiding it. So you're totally right about it. We know actually that AI is a thing that a lot of people can be afraid of, right? It's like, as you said, they're going to take our jobs. I don't know. It's like they're going they're going to be cyborgs at some point, and they are going to destroy the world. Something from a Schwarzenegger movie, it's so weird. It's like, but if it's a tool, we can control it, right? So I think, and please tell me what you think about it, that works like you making this storytelling a very easy way to understand this kind of concept that so many people that are not in the matter, right, think that they are so far away from them, could be like, I don't know, the bridge between the fear and the knowledge, right? What do you think about it?
Yeah, that is absolutely true. I mean, like I said, things that you probably needed a team of 10 people, or you needed years of experience to do, you cannot do it with AI. And it doesn't take away the fact that you still get to learn in the process, because I mean, you still have to implement what it's telling you to make things happen. But if a lot of times we're closed off from the possibilities, because like you said, we're scared of what could happen, what could go wrong. And that's why people like us exist in this space. So the content I create is, I'm honest about the constraints. I'm honest about the trade-offs. I'm honest about, okay, this is what AI cannot do. For instance, even technical writers that use AI in their work, they will tell you AI cannot replace the nuances that make us humans. There are things, there's a way we reason that AI could never, because it's just learning from data. It's just spitting out patterns it has observed, right? It's not living the day-to-day life that you and I are living, so it cannot understand the details that goes into our day. So that's why you shouldn't even be worried about it, because it can never have the kind of life that you have. You understand? It doesn't have that culture and the things that make us humans, the psychology, the thinking. It can never take that ever. And I would be, I mean, it would be a whole horror movie if that was ever to happen, but I don't think it would ever happen. So basically, AI is just a tool that bridges, like you said, fear from knowledge, and we should not be scared to use it. As long as you're using it responsibly,
Sorry.
you're not using it for no problem. As long as you're using it responsibly, there's nothing to worry about. I mean, just make sure that you know you look for loopholes in your current workflows. What's something that was taking a lot of your time that you could probably outsource to this tool that would help you to now focus on other things? That's a good way to find ways to use AI. So yeah, it's not something to be scared of, honestly. There are so many people, including myself, that are creating content that helps you to if you check out my YouTube channel, you're going to see very easy, concise explanation of different AI concepts. So I know sometimes it can be overwhelming when you come across a piece of content and they just spin jargon, that considering the fact that, okay, these are people that are new to this space. They probably do not understand what this specific term means. But, people like me, we're creating content that helps you to understand the why. I feel like that's what's very important, because a lot of times a lot of content are focused on how something works, but people want to understand why it works that way. Why should they consider it as something they should use? Why is this relevant to their life? Why should this be a product they should use? For instance, if I go to start telling someone that wanted to use Mindy Minds about the features and maybe just exaggerating or hyping what it can do, that kind of person would not trust the product. But if I told them why this product was built, the problem we saw, and the problem this product is trying to solve, that's where the emotion comes in. Because a lot of times when people hear emotional storytelling, because we've linked emotion to crying or tears, and we think that,
I
oh,
was going
that's
to
what
ask
we're.
you that. That's so important. The emotion that you put in your writing makes
Yes.
people reach AI without fear.
Exactly. So, because when we think about emotions, we picture this person crying or laughing, but that's not what it is. Because we experience a lot of emotions. We experience fear. We experience doubt. Those are all emotions, right? And those are emotions that most times readers come to you with when they're coming to read your content. Someone that doesn't understand something, they're coming there with doubts. What they need from you after reading your content is confidence. Even someone that is learned too, that wants to make a decision, he's also coming there with confusion or maybe guidance. He needs guidance from you. So those are all emotions too. So that's also a notion I try to correct with my own work, because a lot of times when people hear emotion and then you combine with storytelling, they think you're probably going to be telling bedtime stories or maybe cracking jokes. But no, that's not what it is. Emotional storytelling is just structuring information in a way that mirrors how humans process information. So as humans, we like to know why we're doing something. Why should I do it this way? Why do you say this product is better than this product? And when you anticipate those questions that your audience will probably have, and you answer them in your content, then that's how you bring emotional storytelling in AI.
That's amazing. Actually, you are just like me. You are very empathetic. Sorry, it's just like he wants to be part of the session. That's okay. He's there, sir. I understand that you are just like me. As I said before, it's like you're very empathetic. You think about the client. You try to make the client comfortable. That is so important. I think that we are making some rupture here. Like we are creating something different in the way that we work, right? In the way that you approach the people is like, I know that people read you and they think of AI in a different way, right? But I understand that you work with different kinds of audience. So that's something that I wanted to ask you, because actually you are very loyal to your own authenticity. You have your own way to write. Actually, I'm going to say that, yes. I used to write things as well. It's like not as professional as you, but I understand that at some point you need to have a voice, right? You need to have a voice, you need to have some discipline to write. So how do you approach different audience? I see that you work with different kinds of people, with beginners, experts. How do you do that?
All right. Actually, I love this question. In fact, I get this question a lot because, like I said, when people hear emotional storytelling, they think you're only speaking to people that are probably just, newbies in the space. But this is a concept that translates across different audience type. Now, the first thing, like you said, good storytelling is rooted in empathy. You need to be in the shoes of the person you're writing for. Lots of times we just go ahead to create content without understanding the context or understanding who we're writing for. So, like I said earlier, beginners tend to have the same problems. They need reassurance, they need confidence to use a product. They need they need that trust that, okay, yeah, I can do this. So that's what your content needs to do for them. It needs to give them that reassurance. But then when you're coming to an expert audience, what they need is respect, right? They already know so much. They're probably coming to you because they need to optimize a process. They're probably coming to you because they need to make a decision about a specific tool. So what you want to use is, you don't have to go ahead to be telling stories because that's not what they're looking for. That would be you're dumbing down information. What you want to do is that you want to, use the terminologies they are familiar with, but then you want to be honest. And now this is very important because these people can tell when you're lying. I'm talking about expert audience. They know when you're exaggerating, they know when you're hyping a product just to get them to use it. So you want to show that, oh, I've used this product. I'm not just talking from a place of hypothesis rather. I'm not just making this up. And this is something that I use every day, or this is something that I've tested out. Then you want to be honest about the trade-offs and the constraints, the edge cases, what problems they might encounter while using the product. So that honesty is what now makes them trust you. I wrote one of my newsletters last week where I wrote about writing for a marketing allergic audience. So these are the people you'd classify as marketing allergic experts. They are very skeptical when you say storytelling because it's like, oh, nobody wants you to start explaining AI and saying, oh, it is like cat and dog. But that's not storytelling. Storytelling is about structure. So it's just, first of all, you have to understand who you're writing for. You need to know the questions they're asking when they come to you. So your content now answers that question for them. So for a beginner, you want to start with everyday analogies. What is something that they are used to, something that they can easily understand quickly? You want to give them everyday analogies that will help them to remember what you're trying to explain to them. But for experts, you want to discuss things like risks. What's the risks involved? What do I stand to gain or lose? So basically, it's just about tailoring the narrative arc of your content to flow with who you're writing for. So yeah, it still comes down to empathy. It still comes down to willing to do the work to research on these people, to understand where they are so that you can use your content to take them to where they need to be. So that's how I approach it. So first of all, you need to understand them, and then you need to answer the questions they have, and then you need to approach content in a way that fits their mindset, the way that they process that information.
I love it. And I love the fact that you said, and well, I read that as well, that you should make the pitch in a way that everyone can understand and you adapt AI situations to everyday things. I think that that's brilliant. I think that that can help a lot of people that actually feel afraid or threatened to this tool, right? To look at it with in an easy way, right? Maybe approach it. But at the same time, you're talking about some people that is expert, people that is beginner, people that know more or less. You know, yes, something an expert in the matter, and I have seen that by myself. That there are like two sides, right? There is one side that wants to make AI as accurate as possible, and another side, we can say, correct me if I'm wrong, that maybe those are the beginners, the ones that don't understand that, or they don't feel like the AI is a tool. They feel threatened that says, let's make the AI less accurate to make it easier to handle, right?
Yeah.
So how do you do? How do you navigate with these kind of things, right? Considering that you have one voice, how can you talk with these two very very different sides at the same time and keep them?
All right. Yeah. Actually, it's all about layering information. You want to start from a place where that beginner can come in and understand what you're trying to say, but also that an expert that comes to read the content would also have a takeaway from it. Now, just to clarify something, because of what you said about people thinking you have to make AI a little bit inaccurate to make it accessible for beginners. I understand why people would think that, but that doesn't have to be the case. Now, you don't have to dumb down information for information to be accessible. You just have to make the information clear. And by that, it might also mean about not, sometimes people try to share everything inside one piece of content. You can have sequel. It doesn't have to be jumbled into one piece, especially when you're targeting a beginner. No beginner wants to come today and go from understanding AI to suddenly building a $1 billion app. Nobody wants that. So, but when you break it down into different layers, then they can consume it step by step, and that's how they're able to, have takeaway from it. Now, for experts, another thing I also want to clarify is the fact that I also don't, support the idea of creating the same content for the same, like creating one content for multiple people. I mean, you want to make the content accessible, but you also need to have a goal for each content that you create. If your goal is to target beginners, then let that content be focused on beginners. If your goal is to target experts, then let that content be focused on experts. Because when you try to mix two words, like you said, these are two different people. I mean, you're trying to make content accessible for someone that's probably 6 months in the space, and create content for someone that's probably 10 years, 2 decades. Those are two different words apart. You want to, you can still create content that a beginner can read and gain something from it, but you still need to make sure that your content or the purpose it serves is not reduced because you're trying to please so many people. And that's one thing about writing. You cannot please everybody with your content. The same way every product has target audience. Yes, other people from other audiences might use the product, but you, the person that is looking for loyal users of your product, you have target people that you're focused on. Why you might be creating that product, other people might also find it useful, but you have to make sure that what you're creating, those people that are actually your focus gain something from it. So if you want to create content for people of different expertise level, I mean, it's possible for them to understand it, but you need to still focus on who it is you're talking to at that specific time. Because the way you wouldn't want to create content for someone who is a developer and also create something for someone who is in marketing. I mean, they might have the same they might even work in the same company, but they have different roles and they have different responsibilities and they have different thought processes. So I wouldn't advise jumbling everything together. But yeah, like I said, when you're writing content for either audience, you have to first understand where they are at so you can take them. You see, writing content for me is like a journey. When someone comes to you and they're in a particular state, they are probably in state 0. Your content wants to take them to stage 1, or maybe they're already in stage 1 and you want to take them to stage 10, or they're in stage 10, you want to take them to stage 100. Your content is supposed to be like a transformation. Nobody should read what you write and go the same way they came to you. So you want to take them from, maybe they were in an unsuccessful state. Probably they've consumed that content. They're trying to find, how to use a particular tool, and they keep reaching roadblocks. When they meet your content, then your content should be the best answer they're looking for. That's always my motivation when I'm writing. I always ask myself, if I came across this on the internet, would I read it myself and actually gain something from it? So that's the thing about putting yourself in the reader's shoes. You want to mentally picture yourself doing what they're doing. How do they reason? Beginners, how do they think? Experts, how do they want things to be done? And then you need to meet them where they are, so it doesn't take away from your authenticity as a writer, because sometimes when you say storytelling, you don't have to lose your unique voice. You just have to do what I call strategic mimicry. You have to be able to chameleon to suit the person that you're speaking to at that specific time. That's one of our talents as technical writers, the ability to shape shift into different forms depending on who you're targeting. The way I would explain AI to someone who is 5 years old is not the way I would speak to someone who is 25. So it doesn't mean I am a child, but I have to now put on my child thinking cap or put on my adult thinking cap and try to pass across information in a way that mirrors how that person cognitive ability at the time is. So I don't know if what I'm saying I feel like I'm talking a lot of things, but I hope you got my point.
I love it. Actually, I love the concept of thinking cap. It's like being a chameleon on the side is, I suppose, that is very difficult. It's like not all the writers can do that. I think that that's a very amazing soft skill that is very linked with the empathy that you always talk about, and I love it actually. So I was going to ask you if you have a formula, but I think that you answered me that. I think that there is not an exact formula because it's like you adapt to the people and you can sense what the people need when you write, right?
Yes, but there are also like techniques that have worked time and time again. So I have a handful of them. There's this one that I gave a talk on, PTS, which is basically problem, tension, and solution framework. So what the framework does is to show the problem of the reader, show them the costs of not taking action on that problem, then present the tool or the product as a solution. So for instance, let me use Mindy Minds again. I'm using it a lot because it's a product I love. But for instance, the problem here with people that would need Mindy Minds are people that have felt like they've not been understood. They've used generic products. It doesn't help them go through their day in good faith. And then that's a problem, right? And then the cost of inaction would be that, oh, if you don't find a solution to this problem you're going through, you're going to keep having bad days. You're going to keep overwhelming yourself, right? You outline the consequences of doing nothing about that problem, and then you present Mindy Minds as a solution to that problem. Now, this framework, I use it a lot when I'm writing about a product. So if I'm trying to, subtly sell a product, an AI product, that's a framework I would use. Another technique I like to use is what I call the frame of reference. So it's basically like creating a mental model that helps someone to understand what you're trying to explain to them. So for instance, if I wanted to say something about cloud storage to a beginner, I could explain how it's like, filling stuff in your cabinet, in your house, but just that this time around is digital. If I say something like that, the person would instantly understand it because this is something they can relate to. So that's what frame of reference does. It basically links something that the reader knows to something that they do not know, right? So that's another process that works for me. Another thing that works for me is what I call cause and effect. So basically, you want to show why something happens before you now show how it happens. So if I say why, let me look for the perfect example. For instance, why okay, the product that keeps coming to my head throughout today is Mindy Mind for some reason. So why Mindy Mind came into the picture, right? That's me saying the cost of the product, and then how to use the product is then going ahead to show a step-by-step process on how to use Mindy Mind. Another one that I like is also using what would be the perfect word to explain this now? Okay, one that's also pretty familiar with people is using analogies, just your regular everyday analogies. I don't use it as much because analogy is very tricky. You don't want to oversimplify what you're saying. You don't want to say something that would not really help the user to understand your point. So I don't use them as much. Another thing is also, storytelling is just strongly about giving a reason why something is happening, because anybody can learn the how, but when you give someone a reason why, the information is easier to transfer to other new concepts they would learn. So if I tell you why something is happening here today, first of all, it even increases curiosity for people, because then you start asking deeper questions about this technology, which helps the person to understand it further. So instead of just dumping, tutorials and how to guide on people, if you say do something in particular way, if I tell you use this product a particular way, why should the person use that product a particular way? First of all, it shows, it helps the person even trust you, because when you can give a why for something, then it helps the person to trust that you are speaking from a place of experience, because you only have a why for that thing if it is something you've interacted with often, at least. Now, for instance, if I wanted to say, oh, the results of this model, when I ran the confusion matrix, I'm speaking terminologies now, but
I love
stay
it.
with
Please
me.
continue.
So confusion matrix is basically like a way to check the accuracy of an AI model. So there's something called false positives, right? And false positive is basically saying someone is not miss. So false positive is basically saying someone has something when they don't have that thing, and then false negative is saying someone doesn't have something when they actually have it. So let's say, for instance, someone has malaria, and then you say they don't have it. So that's a bad thing, right? So if I say, oh, this model has fewer false positives, now that's great because that's the correct thing. But if I go further to say, for a hospital, having fewer having fewer false positives for this model means that less people get misdiagnosed. It means I've linked it to a real world use case. It now makes sense in your head
Yeah.
that, oh wow, this is real life. This is something that actually impacts real life use. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, but if I just ended it as, oh, they had fewer false positive, it's not wrong information. You get me? It's still technically accurate. But me now telling you how that plays out for a hospital, it now makes you it makes you more interested, because like, wow, this is actually something that happens day to day, but I'm not conscious of it. And that's even what I also feel can help people adopt AI more, because a lot of times it feels abstract. It feels like something you can't touch, something you have to be really smart to be involved with. But when you start linking it to like real world uses, you start showing the real world implications of these things, then it actually makes people more interested in, making this tool part of their workflow.
Actually, I just love it. You make something that actually is very complex, so simple. I love it, actually. But so many concepts. It's like I'm hearing you, and while I remember the articles that I read that you made and everything, it's like this is something that I have to ask because I have some people that I don't know if they are here in the session right now, but they asked me for this session. How do you know the length of the article and how to take some concept, how to not take some concept, and make the article in a length that you won't overwhelm the reader? How do you think
All
about it?
right.
It's a whole structure, right?
This question is actually, I mean, you've been asking me really interesting questions that I like, because those are questions I've also tried to answer on my LinkedIn. I made a post earlier this year about having to a problem I called the problem of omission, having to decide what stays and what should go when you're creating content.
Mm.
It's very tricky because, when you're someone that likes to explain a lot, you want to pour everything in your mind out into the article. But you also have to respect the time of the person consuming the content, because, I mean, with the use of social media and our phones, we have shorter times focus on reading. Like most people want to be in and out in 5 minutes or less. So you still want to be able to create content that people can consume quickly or glance through. So me, for personally, what I use for my own writing process is I ask myself, does this really have to be here? You have to be honest with yourself as a writer if you want to be able to do good work. Sometimes we're just adding things because we love the way we explained it. It makes us feel good. But because you feel good does not mean that it's going to benefit your audience, right? You
Yeah.
have to be able to make those tough calls. You have to ask yourself, does this really need to be here? If I take it out, would it do anything to the article? If something can be taken out and the core message of your content is still going to be passed across, then it doesn't need to be there. At my place of work, Hackmamba, we have this thing where we say every word needs to count to something. Every word you add into your content must in its place to be there, and that really helps you in deciding what stays. If you can say something in 5 words, why are you saying it in 15 words? Let go of it, right? So that's how I decide. If you ask yourself, does this thing need to be here? Is this something that maybe it could be a part 2 or it could be a series? I think people need to embrace doing that more. Sometimes you don't have to put everything into just one article. You could cut it into multiple. Even sometimes make the person want to come back to continue from where they stopped. But if you just jumble everything up and I come to it and I'm like, oh my god, I need to read 16 minutes, I'm done. You
Yeah.
understand? But if you split that 555, that's 3 articles you have, and people would more likely finish an article that is 5 minutes long than someone that's just something at just 60 minutes. So you have to as a writer step out of your content, and that's why I always tell people that do not publish immediately you finish writing or immediately you even finish editing. Give it 1 or 2 days, let it marinate, and come back to it with fresh eyes. So you want to stand outside your content, and I'm a very visual person, so hence my mannerisms. But you want to stand outside your content and ask yourself from a reader's perspective, if this thing goes missing in this place, would it change anything? If it wouldn't, take it out. It's heartbreaking because as writers we tend to be in love with what we do, and it's like, oh my god, I don't want to take out this thing. It's going to hurt me after all the hard work I put in. But no, what really makes a good writer is the fact that you can step out of your own feeling of expertise or I know it all to do things that will instead please the person you're writing for, because you're not writing for yourself. I mean, you write so that people can consume and use your content for something.
For the ones that I'm watching, I'm using OBC in Linux. It's kind of complicated. At some point, the transmission get lost, just 1 minute or 2. So sorry. It's like I just realized, something that is always that happens here. It's like we don't make you bored. so sorry. I should realize, because actually a follower chat me up on WhatsApp and told me, what happened? You didn't say goodbye. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Roberto. Thank you. You can use the chat. We have a chat now. so sorry, Praise. Now we are still actually. Now we are. Sorry. So sorry.
Right. No problem. Okay, like
Maybe
I
you
was
can do
saying.
a summary of what you said before. It was just 2 minutes. Sorry.
All right. Okay, so I was answering your question on who should be the hero in
Yes.
content creation. Should it be the reader? Should it be the writer? Should it be the client? And like I was saying, it would always be the reader. That's the person consuming. That's the person that will give you your money. That will give you the money you need to run your business, right? That's the person. So you always should make content that that person can use to improve their life, improve their workflow, make things better for them. If you are writing for yourself, then you wouldn't be posting it. But when we make content available online, we want it to improve, even if it's one person's day or one person's life. So yeah, like I said about transformation, you have to treat your content as a transformation piece. Every time someone reads your work, they come to you in a particular way or with a particular thinking or with a particular problem. And by the time they're done reading your content, you should have done something positive for them. You should have answered that question. You should have given them solution to their problem. You should have changed their mode of thinking to something, preferably better. You should have improved them by at least 1%, right? And that's the thought process I go into every content creation journey with. You just have to make sure that if that person finished reading your content, I used to tell myself, I want the person to feel like, oh my God, I wish I could meet this writer and hug the person. I want them to feel that way when they consume my content. So it's every time before I write, I always ask myself, how can I be the best possible answer for this problem on the internet? How can I be the best possible solution to this problem? And when you approach writing from this mindset, it actually gives your work meaning. Because oftentimes when you start writing a lot, it starts to feel like, oh, you're just writing to maybe, meet your client deadline or complete word count, just do it and let go of it. But when you start to think about the people's life that you're improving or you're transforming with this content, then it starts to give your work more purpose, and it actually makes you even want to show up every day, just knowing that this little thing I'm writing in my room can potentially help someone to do something amazing in their space. So yeah, that's the reader is always going to be the center focus of content creation.
Actually, what you're saying is true. Um, all this storytelling actually is going to do something great in the future for society to make them understand that actually AI is a tool, but it's a nice tool to use, right? I always say that actually AI is like to tell, a mechanic, don't use the wrench, use your hands. Why? Why will he do that? He has the wrench. It works amazingly. You want your car fixed? Let me use the wrench, right? So actually, I think that you're doing an amazing work. I think that you have an amazing mission right here. You are helping people to understand something that not too long ago, actually, not so long ago, some people thought that maybe understanding these kind of things was like magic, right? It's like,
Yeah.
it's not been that long. Between
Yes.
the first chat GPT and now that we understand we can create chatbots, we can, it's crazy actually.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
this is something again very personal. What is your favorite subject regarding AI that you want to talk to? That's something you have to be careful to not repeat yourself too much because you love the subject, for example.
I'm sorry, my assumption about AI.
No, do you have maybe a concept that is your favorite about talking about?
Oh, AI. Oh, my favorite concept. Wow,
I know
that's
that is a lot. It's a lot. I know.
a pretty that's a pretty tough one because there are a lot of things that I know in my head right now. Okay, I won't say it's my favorite anyway, but I would say it's one of the things that I wrote about that I liked, and I also got a lot of good feedback from. And it was this piece I wrote about code stats problem in recommender systems. So just to give a brief explanation on that, you see, when we watch Netflix, right? I don't know if you watch movies, but if you do watch Netflix, um, there's this thing where if you finish watching an action movie, for instance, Netflix will recommend other action movies to you, right? That's the recommender system in play. Now, the code start problem happens when you see Netflix is using lots of data. I mean, Netflix has more than 100 million users currently. So that's a lot of data to learn from for the AI system to be able to predict what you most likely would like to watch next, right? But for a new business or for a new system that doesn't have that much data, it's difficult for a user for the system to recommend to a user that, oh, maybe for instance in a shopping website, or after you bought these clothes, because there's no prior or historical data, the system is not able to say, oh, people also bought this kind of clothes and why buying this kind of clothes. So it's not able to give that recommendation. So that problem is called the code stats problem in recommender systems. So I don't know if I did a great job explaining it, but
It
yes,
was
I
very
think
easy
that's
to
one of my
understand. Yeah.
that was one of my favorite things to write for Free Code Camp. So yeah, that's I guess I have so many, but yeah, that's one of them.
I did a very tricky question actually, but I wanted to know because actually it's like you are so diverse when you talk about things regarding AI. Some other storytellers do this thing, right? It's like they have the favorite thing to talk about and they repeat too much. You don't. I think that's
Oh no,
another
no.
discipline thing. You never repeat yourself. It's like I don't know how do you do that. It's like because how many content do you do at the week? Lots of content. There was a time that I remember when I follow you, the whole day, all the days of the week, from Monday to Friday. Respect. Everything different.
Well, I think on the spot I probably won't be able, but I mean if I went back to stay, I would have a lot. There are lots of them: decision trees, confusion matrix, like I mentioned, um um algorithms. I mean, I feel maybe because I read these things a lot daily because I have to create content on them. They are jumbled up in my mind. I guess that's what's happening to me right now, but I have a lot of them. Explainable AI. I also love that. Um, Anela, I could if
I
we
know. I'm being a
I
little
could
mean. Sorry. So sorry.
I
I
could,
was just
but
curious.
I'm just going to. No, I actually love the question. It's very it's a very
It's an
thoughtful
horizon of answers,
question.
actually.
Yeah, because like I said, the one I cited example, why I loved it was because I got a lot of positive feedback, and it's actually an article that is ranking on Google. So I mean, people have to have loved it for it to be ranking. So yeah, that's one of them. I wrote one recently about decision trees. That's also something I love. So basically, it's the same way we approach decisions as human beings. We consider a lot of factors when we want to make decisions. So the same thing with decision algorithms. So it basically splits like decisions down, 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 like a tree. You get me? So it's
Yes.
just breaking decisions down to a tree, and then at the base level, and then you now decide that, okay, this is the best answer, or this is the best solution for this question that you're asking. So yeah, that's it. I mean, that's some I can think off the top of my head right now. But I should probably do make this a post on LinkedIn. Thank you. That's a good idea
I give you an idea.
for
Oh
me.
my god, I'm so happy. You have already my reaction. So actually, from your experience, since you make AI very easy to understand and you engage a lot with the audience. Well, I am part of your audience, so we can see that you engage a lot. So, what can you say to companies that use AI, and how can you, I don't know, tell these people to make AI better for people, right? What would you be your advice to make AI more accessible for people in the company eyes? Because
Okay.
some of them don't know how to.
Okay. From a user perspective, I mean, from a user perspective, from a writer, content creator perspective, I would say what most more companies need to do is to stop trying to sell and actually build a product that only needs a little bit of push and then it will sell itself. And that's very important because sometimes, people are building products that while they might be useful, they are not really that useful. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not name
Yes.
calling, but it's something that people can do without, right? It's something that they'll be fine without it regardless. So you want to create a product first that is, when I stumble upon it, it's easier for me to adopt the product. So is the whole thing about people, where people say good product sells itself. That's one thing. So you have to make sure your product is top notch first. And the second thing is that you have to show the value of the products from the user's perspective, not just you the creator's perspective. Because a lot of times they're lost in the features. You want to talk about the state of the art architecture you use, and why that is amazing. It doesn't answer the question of why should I use it. Okay, you use state of the art architecture, so how is that relevant to me? So you want to provide that relevance to the author, to the users rather, because a lot of times, if you go through some companies websites, and there's no shade, please, that's why I'm not calling names. There's no shade to anybody or to any company. Please, nobody should use my words against me. But this is just an observation. Sometimes you go through a company's website, and what you're just seeing is just features, 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 or state of the art, or revolutionizing this, or we use this novel piece. I mean, it's all good, like it's amazing. But what people care about is still the why. So you have to give people a strong why to use your product. Why is this relevant? Okay, this model that you use, how, why was it necessary for you to use this specific one, not the other one? So you want to bring people, like you're trying to do with Mindy Minds. You want to make the users feel like co-creators of the
Yeah.
product. You want to feel like you had them in mind when you were creating this product, when you're writing the copies for this product, when you're writing the content for this product. A lot of times, even for people that do good work, like create good products, sometimes we become obsessed with the products. We're just focused on, talking about all the beautiful things about the product, but you still need to talk about the practicality of it. How does this improve, someone's workflow? I mean, state of the art is great. It's a very nice English, but I'm not going to eat state of the art. I'm not going to use something because you said it's state of the art. The reason why ChatGPT and most consumer AI products blew the way they did was because people could get their value instantly.
That's so true.
It
It's an
it, it,
immediate
it was
relief, but it's not a real relief.
exactly
That's
exactly it was something that they could. They didn't need to be told what was going behind the scenes or under the hood. People that don't even understand how AI works use ChatGPT and Claude and the rest because they could get the value upfront. So you want to communicate that value of your product upfront to the user through your content, through every touch point throughout the whole marketing process. So yes, I'll just say first you have to build a good product. I mean, if your product is not good, even if you create good content, when people come in contact with that product, they won't use it for long because it's not good. But you need to create good products, create good content, and then you
good
would
products
naturally
and good
get
content that can help people. Actually, it's not about the
yes,
ego, right? The
yes.
developer
It's
ego,
not
that it's something that
about
exists.
the features. Yes, there's something in copywriting where we say features tell, but benefits sell. So the features are great. You can list 100 things that happen. You could tell us you use the best professors from Stanford, but it doesn't change the fact that the person you're talking to doesn't care. What they care about is what happened. Why should I use this one? Why is this product better than this one? Right? Why should I leave ChatGPT and go for Claude? You want to give them a reason for anything that you're saying. Like you want to give them the reasoning behind it. And that's why people connect a lot with founders that are open, like honest about the things they've done or the things they did during the building process. I mean, I would follow someone that's honest, someone that told me, oh, this thing broke, this thing failed when we're doing it, but then we did it again and then it worked. It just there's this thing that comes with um showing that nothing is perfect, right? Because nobody expects your product to be perfect. we
Yeah.
we we know nothing in this world can be, but when you try to start selling your product as perfect, that's where exaggeration comes in, and that's what people mistake for storytelling. So they think that storytelling is exaggeration, but that's not true. Storytelling is not hyping a product. Storytelling is not exaggeration. It's not being dramatic about a product, calling it the best thing after bread or whatever. No, storytelling is you being honest, you saying, okay, this what this product cannot do. I mean, you can't solve every problem in the world with one product, right? This what this product cannot do, but what it can do, it does it very well. Do you get me? So
Yeah.
that's it for me.
That's so true, actually. Yes, it's like these kind of things that we are seeing are like fast food for people, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
they are actually not the protein that they need. So actually, that's the reason that we are doing Mindy this way. That's the reason because I know that we are talking about the storytelling, but we are so synced that I wish just step in 1 sec. That reason
yeah,
actually that we are doing Mindy this way. We want everyone to be co-creators because actually, if we create something that is, as you said perfectly, a good
yeah,
product, but it doesn't relieve any pain point, there is no meaning. We have to create something that actually you feel that is good for you, and we need to hear you out. So what you're saying is absolutely perfect. It's true. It's like we have to create things with heart. We have to create things listening to the other person. The audience is important. So
yeah.
you're totally right. So it's been more than an hour. I really love to talk with you. It was so fast. Everything, the time was so fast. I love it. I
I
could
just
be
looked
more
now.
hours
Wow,
actually. It's like,
already. Yeah.
and maybe
I
we
mean,
can
when you're
talk. Sorry, say again.
yeah. Oh no, no, no. I was just saying, when you're talking about something you love with someone that also shares the same perspective, time goes by on its own. So yeah,
Actually, we are very happy for real at MindyCore to have you as a collaborator. Actually, to have your expertise looking at Mindy, making sure with us to that this is going to be good for the people. We are working very hard, and for the audience, you are going to see very soon. Praise amazing work talking about Mindy and everything. She's going to help you out with the walkthrough and everything after the 27th. So actually, this is something, as I said before, that we are creating together. We have to create it together. This is actually something that I like to call a revolution in tech. Actually, this is not a lot of techie guys being so cold, forgetting about the people. This is a lot of warm people, human beings, using this tool to make you feel better. to make you understand better, to make you feel like your problem is solved. That's what we are doing with MindyCore, and that's what we are doing with Mindy. So before closing, actually, maybe you can talk a little about your content. That Grace actually has an amazing YouTube channel. She has Medium. I know Medium because of you. Actually, I'm become a fan. It's actually a very nice platform. Maybe you can talk about a little about it.
All right. Thank you. So I'm a content creator across all boards. I'm active on LinkedIn, so you can find me there. I mostly just share my perspective on, technical storytelling and AI. You can find me on Medium, as Ornella said. I write, very easy to digest technical content. Basically, I like to say I write content that makes AI feel like a conversation with a knowledgeable friend. So yeah, I've tried to stay I try to put out new articles as frequently as possible. So follow me on Medium. I published one last week and I'm publishing another one this week. So yeah, you always have something to learn. I'm also active on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, Tech with Chris James, where I explain artificial intelligence and machine learning jargon through storytelling. I have a new video, a tutorial video on how to run large language models on your computer locally with Olama. I also have, I know it feels like I'm doing too much, but stay with me. I, I, I'm just, I'm just trying to make sure that we push this gospel of storytelling everywhere. So I also have a Substack newsletter, Tech and Storytelling, where I basically share like lessons and frameworks and insights from my experience using storytelling in tech. So every Friday I release a new issue of my newsletter. So you should definitely check that out. It's very, as Anela has said multiple times, it's something that you really, really find helpful. Whether you're even a technical writer or not, you definitely pick something you can apply to your job as a content creator. So yeah, you can also find me on Instagram. I mean, I'm a little bit more lively on Instagram compared to other socials. So I'm mostly creating lifestyle content. So just find the Praise James on Instagram. You'd see me there. Yeah, I mean, if you need me anywhere else, I don't know why you would need me anywhere else anyway, but I have my email. You can reach me. You can reach me via email, techwithpraisejames@gmail.com. Send me whatever you want to send me. So yeah, let's keep preaching the gospel of storytelling together.
And for the ones that wants to become a storyteller or whatsoever, you have this amazing person that actually knows a lot. You can ask her, you can contact her. She's always actually ready to help people. That's something that actually I love about your persona. You're always very approachable, professional, approachable, and warm at the same time. It's an amazing combo actually. You're very good in what you do for real. What can you tell these people that want to be storytellers for the first time? For example, which kind of platform should they use at first? Because you have a lot of platforms, but you started with one, I guess.
Right. Okay. So I would say the best place to find people that probably share the same ideologies with you that worked for me was LinkedIn. I mean, that's where I met you.
Yes.
And other amazing people as well. So LinkedIn is a very good place to start. And then you could diversify to places like Substack. Yeah, there are also amazing creators on Substack as well, but I would always recommend LinkedIn to anybody that asks me first. There are people doing the same things, even doing in different ways. They might not be doing it exactly the way you are, but you're still trying to make the same thing happen, which is making AI content clear, accessible, useful, and memorable. So yeah, just make sure you sign up on these platforms. And if you want to be a storyteller, I mean, you have to start by doing. A lot of times we say we want to do things and it's just in our head and it's just a thought. If you want to do it, then you have to go out there and do it. Start small, start creating content, collecting feedback. How are people receiving this content you're creating? What can you do to do better? That's how you get better at this. I always say I'm still a work in progress. I don't even like to associate myself with the expert tag because, I'm still a learner. I still learn new things every day. What I knew 2 years ago when I came into this space is definitely not what I know right now. So that's the beauty of being a technical writer, being a technical storyteller, the fact that you find new ways to approach your audience, you find new ways to communicate better, you find new ways to share information. So the only way to be a storyteller is to do those things, to do the hard things, to do the content creation, to put yourself out there, and then with consistent improvements, you'll be bigger and better than you ever thought you would. And that sounded like a motivational speech, but yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's so easy for you to talk. It's like I love your pitches for real. Oh, you're frozen. And she got froze. Well, she looks good in the picture. Hello, Roberto. Roberto, you're still talking with me on WhatsApp. Roberto is Spanish, okay, but I'm speaking in English because actually you can be in the chat. The chat is open, but it's okay. You can chat me up on WhatsApp. I'm going to stop the transmission, the direct, and return the direct again. Okay, so let's see if she can come back. 1 sec. Okay, let's see if we are back. Yes, yes, we are back. We are back. Okay, great.
All
So
right.
I'm so sorry. We lost
Sorry,
Praise for
guys,
a
for
moment. Hello again. This is a session with lots of adventures, lots of emotions. This is an adventure, okay? So things happen. When I say that it's very organic, I'm not kidding. This is very organic, very straightforward. So, of course, we're not going to finish the session without saying goodbye, without telling you, Praise, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Actually, I love your shop. I like you as a person. You're amazing as a person. You're amazing as a professional. This is a message that we can take from this session, right? It's like everything has to connect people. You started this because of your mentor. You keep going because of the audience, and this make us meet, do all these amazing things that we are doing together, the amazing things that you're doing, and we are actually very grateful because actually at the end of the day you are doing a service. What you're doing is a service. Being this bridge between people and AI is something that in a couple of years we will be very grateful. I myself am grateful. So I don't know if you want to say something else.
Okay. I don't know if you heard my motivational speech from earlier. Where I was talking about, more people should, if you want to get into storytelling, you have to start doing the storytelling. Yeah, so what I just want to say right now is, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. I actually had a good time. I enjoyed myself.
I
I
really
love the
did too. Yeah.
questions. They were thoughtful, and they were really, really useful questions. Hopefully we can do this again.
Of course.
I'm happy to be connecting with you with on Mindy Minds, and all the amazing work we do together. So yeah, you shout out everybody. So I'm going to give you a shout out instead. So you guys should follow MindyCore on all socials. They're doing amazing work. And I'm not just saying this because I'm collaborating. It's something that even if I wasn't collaborating, I would use the product.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out me on all your socials, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. I'm a big fan of the work she
And I'm
does.
a big fan
She's
of
an
her.
amazing person. Yes.
And
So the
actually, I'm
feeling
making
is
this on the
mutual. So
road.
yeah, thank you.
Actually, we are going to finish Mindy, and when we finish Mindy, we can do another video call like this and try Mindy together, and you can, from your expertise, talk about it. I think that this is something that I'm doing right now. Okay, this is me brainstorming at the end of the
All right.
session. But okay, you have more
We'll
things
see
to
if
do.
we can make it happen.
Say again.
No, it's fine. It's actually a great idea. It's actually a great idea. We'll just talk about it more and see how we can make it happen.
I
Yeah.
love it.
So aside from that, this has been a great session for me.
I
I enjoyed
enjoyed it.
myself. Let's do it again.
Yes, please.
Thank you to our audience that listen to us. If you have any further questions, like she said, I'm always available to take them. You can reach out to me from LinkedIn to Instagram to Substack. Anywhere you find me, just say hello, and I'll be at your service, right? So yeah, that's it. So
Okay.
I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I think that we say all, actually. It was, time passed so fast, right? It's like, this is what it is, two friends talking. So that's how I want to do all the sessions, and time passed very fast. Thank you so much for being here. This is going to be for the next time, actually. The next one is going to be with Mindy. It's going to be actually very fun. I'm really looking forward to that. And in the meantime, please check all Praise places, the YouTube channel. She's going to upload some things regarding Mindy as well. Her own work is very good. Please give it a try, because actually you're going to learn a lot. And Praise, have an amazing night. It's night as well in your country. So let's keep in touch as always on LinkedIn and all the platforms. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time.